Hi everybody, it's Dr. Swanson again. I hope you've watched my introductory video, and well, you probably didn't enjoy it, but I hope you watched it, and I hope you learned something from it. I really wanted it to be helpful. So here is the topic 1 video about strategic writing. Why do we start with strategic writing? I just want to start writing something fun. Oh, no. We start with strategy first, because strategy is a plan, and you should not do anything without a plan. Even when I shoot these videos, I have a plan. It's right here. I may not follow it. I may go all Trumpian and off script, you know. Kofivi, I want a Kofivi. But anyway, I have a plan. Seriously. Every PR writer has to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you just sit down and start banging stuff out. You've seen that meme with Jim Carrey. You know, you just bang stuff out, and then you wonder why it doesn't work. That's not how we do it in public relations. Everything starts with a plan. So that's where we are in the first week of this class, strategic writing, in the first couple of weeks of this class. So make sure that you've looked through Canvas and you see how everything fits together. Make sure that you've seen that Excel spreadsheet where it has the assigned readings, because that will allow you to follow along week by week on exactly what you need to pay attention to. We changed the book in this class over the summer. We had to go to the new edition. So that's, I just recently went through the readings list and make sure it's all okay. If you find some kind of error in there, let me know, because I don't want to have errors. But anyway, should be all good. The assignments in this area are the coworker memo. That's a solo assignment. The civility memo. That's a team assignment. And there's also a team member evaluation, and there's a quiz. So memos, why do we start with memos? Memos are an easy thing to start with because there's not a whole lot of room for creativity there. It's basically structure. It's structure, it's plan. And so that's a good place to start. And in this class, if you've looked through Canvas and looked through the syllabus you've seen, we will sample all kinds of public relations writing in this class. This is like a smorgasbord of writing. I'm Swedish, so I can say smorgasbord. It's like, oh, we'll do a little news release, and we'll do a little memo, and we'll do a little review of a plan, and we'll do a public service announcement, and we'll do a pitch, and we'll sample everything from the bar of public relations writing tools. Are we going to dig deep on any of them? No, we're not, because we don't have time to dig deep on any of them. But you'll get a nice broad sampling of these different types of work. And if you're practicing and if you're really attending to the concepts here, after you finish this class, if somebody says, write a public service announcement, you go, I've actually done one of those before, and I get how they work. And if somebody says, oh, you need to write some copy for Facebook, you'll go, we, as a team, we wrote some Facebook posts. I can do that. So that's kind of conceptually how this all comes together. And in this first week, we think a lot about strategy. It's really important before you write anything. You need to know, who am I writing for? What organization am I writing for? That's the client, typically. What are the client's values? How do they make decisions? Who is the client? And then the public or audience that we're targeting with this communication, who are these people? What do they know? What do they think? What do they like? What do they dislike? What's going on in their heads? That's demographics, is what do they like? As a group, psychographics, what's going on in their head, all that's important. The technological means of disseminating this, am I writing for a Facebook post? Am I writing for a public service announcement? Is it a memo? Is it a letter? What is it? The tool aspects of this are really important. The legal environment involved, this is not a class on law, but there are times when all of us as PR writers, we're writing something and then we go, wait a minute, this might not be legal for me to do this. And that's when you pull your fingers off the keyboard and you go get help. Because, we can get into trouble writing stuff that's not legally appropriate or ethically appropriate. What is legal to do is not always ethical. What's ethical to do is not always legal. So that takes us back to the plan. Have we planned this out? Have we thought out what we're going to do? The plan is really, really important. So without this element of strategic planning in public relations, it's like driving a car with no instrument panel. When I was in high school, I wanted to be an auto mechanic. That was my goal in life to be an auto mechanic. And after a while, I realized lying on a creeper, rolling under a car with grease in my face, it probably wasn't a cool thing to do. I mean, it's good if you're good at it and you like that, great. It just didn't seem right for me. But anyway, for a while in high school, I wanted to be an auto mechanic. I took auto mechanic classes at night school. I got my certification, all that kind of stuff. And writing public relations copy without a plan is like driving a car without an instrument panel. And I've done that. Maybe some of you have done that. I've driven cars that I was working on that didn't have an instrument panel in place. It's scary as hell. You don't know how fast you're going. You don't know how much gas is in the tank. You don't know if your lights are on or not. Is the engine overheating? I don't know. You don't know anything. It's scary as heck driving a car without an instrument panel. And that's just like trying to be a public relations writer without a strategic plan. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like you're just winging it. We don't want to do that. So that's why we've got to have a strategic plan, and that plan helps us be creative as well, because if you've got a good plan, then you know where you can put the little creative touches in there. So anyway, what else do I want to tell you about here? So it's also important on the team that you have a good discussion amongst the members of your team so that you come up with a plan for each assignment. How are you going to divide the duties? Who's going to do what? How, we're in a Google environment, so it's easy for all of you to get in and write at the same time. You don't have to, but at the same time, potentially you could do that. And you're all writing in the same document, so it's not like we've got different copies of this thing floating around. You can really plan and work well together as a team if you do it. If you don't do it, what ends up happening is you turn in a team assignment to me, and it looks like a jigsaw puzzle, only the pieces came from all kinds of different puzzles. And I look at it and I go, this is not fitting together at all. And it doesn't fit together at all because there was no plan on your part. So the plan is really important. So as you go about your work in this first topic area, please think about that. Also, realize that there's an element in this topic area that's very mindful, specific, it's planned on my part, and that is the step-by-step writing process. You're going to be using that when you write the coworker memo, because you're writing to a coworker about how to use the step-by-step writing process. There's method to my madness. I want you to learn about the step-by-step writing process because I want you to use it. I want you to talk about it in the coworker memo assignment, and then I want you to use that process throughout this class. Surprisingly, or maybe not, in the past, there have been students in 362 who write the coworker memo, they learn about the step-by-step writing process, and then they go on and they forget all about the steps. And they just sit down and they start writing stuff. The Jim Carrey thing. They just start writing stuff. And I respond then in my feedback, remember that step-by-step writing process? You're not using it. Because you're not using it, all your assignment here looks all discombobulated. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So the step-by-step writing process is a key strategic element. It's really important. And so make sure that you use that in this topic area and beyond, because that's important for you. The proofreading of your work is really important as well. I've had students in this class who all the way to the end are not using spell check, and they keep getting knocked off points, knocked off. And they get to the end of the class and they go, I was really hoping for an A. And I go, I was really hoping you'd proofread and use spell check, and you didn't, and that's why you didn't get an A or even close to it. So that aspect of your work is so important. Proofread carefully, line by line. It also helps if you read copy out loud. If you read the copy out loud, you will catch errors that you can't catch just reading it. Proofread, spell check. I recommend Grammarly. Have you heard about Grammarly? It's a free program. You can download it onto your laptop and it will check your writing as you write. Grammarly is really good. I use it. I've been writing professionally for 40 plus years. I use Grammarly. It's a big help because sometimes, it'll call out things and I'll go, really? Oh yeah, I guess you're right. So I recommend Grammarly. But anyway, make sure that you proofread and edit your copy, spell check, read it, have somebody else look at it before you turn it in, because spelling errors, grammar errors, punctuation errors will cost you dearly in this class, because they're just not acceptable in public relations, and I just don't want to see them in here, so be aware of that. So review all the content items in the topic 1 area in Canvas, review the study guide, make sure you do the readings that are assigned. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I am here to help you. I want to see you succeed in this class. I really, really, really want to see you succeed and get out in the professional world and do great things. And, you know, it just warms my heart when I get a student, you know, sending me a message through LinkedIn and they go, you know, I was taking your writing class 5 years ago and it just was so boring. And but I really learned, and it really helped me. And I learned to do this, and I'm doing this now in my job, and it's great. And I just go, that's great. That's what I like to see. I want to see that from everybody. There's no reason you cannot be an excellent public relations writer. Perfect? No, you won't be perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you can be an excellent public relations writer. And this is the place where you start. And you start with strategic writing and public relations. So there we are. Thanks a lot for your attention.